Revealed, the incredible secret of the poor girl bullied by classmates and unexpected heiress. Mia Thompson sat on the cracked sidewalk, sketchbook balanced on her knees, as sunlight danced around her. Today, it was an ocean, sparkling blue with soft white waves, alive and vibrant. A passing boy stopped, his gaze fixed on her drawing, rolling his eyes before sauntering away. The familiar sting of hurt crept into her chest. She resisted the urge to crumple the page, but instead, she drew harder, burying her emotions in the colors and shadows. At Lincoln High, Mia's life was a different canvas. Classmates hurled their insults like paint splashes. Poor girl, freak, loser, but beyond the mockery lay her secret weapon, creativity. While the other girls flaunted their trendy outfits, Mia wore hand-me-downs, a physical reminder of her mother Linda's endless shifts at the diner. They struggled, but Mia's heart bloomed in her sketches. She often hoped for a brighter future, imagining days where she could sit in a sunlit cafe, her work hanging on the walls. One afternoon, while capturing the beauty of the metal playground, Mr. Richards, a local businessman with kind eyes, approached her. "You've got talent, girl," he said, peering over her shoulder. "Have you ever thought about entering a scholarship competition? It could change your life." Heart racing, Mia processed his words. Change? For someone like her? The whispers of doubt entangled her mind. She hesitated, uncertain if she could lift the weight of her family's legacy. Weeks passed, and Mia poured herself into her art, losing track of time, sketch after sketch coming to life, a swirling mix of hope and struggle. Yet, the closer she came to the competition, the more ferocious her bullies became, fueled by fear of someone rising from the ashes of poverty. Their taunts echoed in the halls. "What are you hoping for, Mia? To be rich and famous? Like that's going to happen." Each word struck her deeply, but her bond with her mother fortified her spirit. "You're stronger than them," Linda would whisper, brushing a stray hair from Mia's face. As the spring gala approached, excitement and dread filled the air. It became a battleground of social status at Lincoln High. Attendees were ready to judge, and Mia felt the weight of gazes as she prepared her presentation. Each night, she and Linda shared dreams of escaping their struggles, but they played out as fragile thoughts amid harsh realities. Finally, the night of the spring gala arrived, bright lights illuminating anxious faces. Mia stood backstage, palms clammy, heart pounding. As she prepared to unveil her art, a murmur rippled through the crowd. Anxiety clawed at her throat. Then, just as she stepped forth, a voice cut through the air, challenging her right to stand where she did. "Who do you think you are? Just a poor girl playing at being an artist." The room fell silent, and Mia's insides twisted. Doubts flooded her mind. Would she crumble under the judgment, or would she rise and claim her truth? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Mia drew in a deep breath, suddenly aware of her mother's comforting presence amidst the chaos. What would happen if she revealed her true story? In this moment, everything hung in the balance. Would her painful history shatter her identity, or could it be the spark for a new beginning? The crowd watched, waiting for her next move, tension thick as the secrets of her lineage loomed closer. Would she let them define her, or rise beyond their shadows? Mia's heart raced as she stood there, the weight of every eye in the room pressing down on her shoulders. The voice that mocked her still lingered in her ears, but she couldn't let it drown out her own thoughts. Every moment of fear she experienced felt like a drop of paint threatening to spill over the edges of her carefully crafted canvas. She gripped the edges of her sketchbook, her knuckles white. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward into the spotlight, her knees trembling but determination flaring up inside her. The audience buzzed with anticipation, but what they didn't know was that this wasn't just about the art, this was about her life. She could feel her mother's presence, like a warm hug, sheltering her from the world outside. Just the thought of Linda's unwavering support gave her the strength she needed to begin. "And my name is Mia Thompson," she stammered, her voice soft but firm, breaking through the whispers like sunlight cutting through the fog. "And this piece is more than just a drawing." Taking a deep breath, she laid her sketchbook on the stand. As she flipped it open, she saw the vibrant colors she poured her soul into and felt a rush of pride. "This isn't just an art piece," she continued. "It reflects my journey, the struggles, the dreams, and the strength I've found through it all." As she spoke, the murmurs began to fade, replaced by a hushed silence. Mia glanced around, searching for familiar faces. She found Linda in the crowd, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. That was enough to steady her voice. "In every line and shadow, there's a story, my story," she said, her hands now steady. "People say I'm just a poor girl without a future, but every day I wake up, I choose to fight for a better life because I believe in myself." Heat rose in her cheeks with the vulnerability she was exposing. It felt like jumping off a cliff, unsure of where she would land. Would they continue to see her as that poor girl, or would they finally understand the depth of her spirit? The crowd shifted, faces softening as they took in her words. It was as if she had pulled the curtain back on a hidden part of herself, and in that moment, the air felt lighter. Mia could sense the curiosity blooming mixed with empathy, and it ignited something fierce within her. "I sketch not because I want to be rich or famous," she added with a mix of vulnerability and strength. "I draw because it heals me. It shows me that beauty exists despite the struggles. And every time I pick up my pencil, I reclaim my story." A ripple of applause broke through, hesitant at first, but it quickly grew, echoing off the walls until it felt thunderous. Mia's breath caught in her throat as she took a step back. Did they truly begin to understand? But before she could fully embrace the moment, a voice shattered the newfound calm. "What a pity. Just a girl chasing a fantasy. Look at her, she doesn't belong here." A chill ran through her, the familiar sting of ridicule reopening wounds. Yet, this time, it was different. The audience tensed, their eyes narrowing on the interrupter. Mia squared her shoulders, refusing to let fear take hold. "I may not have a title or wealth, but I have dreams," she declared, the fire of her spirit igniting anew. "And those dreams matter." The applause shifted to a roar, mixed with gasps of disbelief. Mia felt her heart pound with adrenaline as she caught a twin flicker of recognition in Linda's eyes, pride and love. In that moment, confronted by the harsh realities of life and the complexities of acceptance, Mia knew one thing for sure: she was no longer just the poor girl, she was an artist rewriting her fate. But as the audience lifted her, a question lingered: where would this newfound strength lead her now? What awaited beyond the applause and the whispers of doubt? With every breath, she felt the promise of tomorrow, but also the uncertainty of how to navigate this new path. The gala had only just begun. Mia stood on the stage, heart still racing from the whirlwind of emotions. As the applause reverberated through the room, she caught glimpses of faces in the crowd, some nodding in appreciation, others whispering through clenched teeth. It was overwhelming, and for a moment, she felt like a marionette caught between strings, being pulled by memories of ridicule and hopes of acceptance. She stepped back, breathing in the warm air infused with the scent of fresh paint and creativity. Around her, the gala buzzed with excitement, art pieces displayed like little worlds waiting to be explored. Suddenly, she felt oddly out of place again, the whispers of disbelief creeping back. Were they still seeing her as that poor girl even now? Before she could sink into that thought, Linda squeezed her way through the crowd, beaming with pride. "Mia, that was beautiful." Her mother wrapped her arms around her and pulled her close. "You could feel it in your bones." Mia pulled back slightly, eyes sparkling with a mix of gratitude and worry. "But what if they don't really see me, for who I am?" The fear of being misunderstood clung to her like a shroud. "They are seeing you, sweetheart. The real you. You showed them your heart." Linda's voice was steady, a lighthouse amidst her stormy thoughts. Encouraged, Mia chose to look back at the crowd, curiosity and hope replacing the knots in her stomach. What else could this night hold? The audience had changed, she sensed a new recognition in them, an awakening. She wondered how many had stories buried beneath layers of expectation, just like hers. "Hey, can I paint your portrait?" A voice broke through her reverie as a girl, no older than Mia, stepped forward. She had radiant blue hair and an infectious smile. "I'm Harper. I've seen some of your sketches. I think you have incredible talent." Mia blinked, taken aback. The offer felt surreal, like a door swinging wide open to an unexpected world. "Really? You want to paint me?" "Absolutely. This is about making connections, right? Plus, I want to show everyone that beauty is all about the stories we carry." Harper's eyes were filled with excitement, and Mia felt her heart flutter with something new. Friendship. As she nodded in agreement, a sudden commotion at the entrance caught her eye. A tall figure strode into the gallery, commandingly dressed in an elegant suit. Mia's breath hitched. It was Jonathan, the very person whose taunts had haunted her throughout school. His presence sent waves of both dread and a strange sort of determination through her. Why was he here? Did he come to mock her again? But as he scanned the crowd, Mia noticed something she hadn't seen before. His expression wasn't that of a bully. Instead, it was complicated, a mix of curiosity and something bordering on regret. Perhaps he had come to witness the moment that had once seemed improbable. Feeling a rush of bravery, Mia decided to confront it head-on. "I know you probably came to laugh," she said aloud, her voice carrying over the distant chatter. The room hushed again, and heads turned, eyes darting between them. Jonathan seemed taken aback. "No, let me finish," she interjected, her heartbeat loud in her ears. "If you're here to judge, know this, I'm stronger than your words, and I will keep fighting for my dreams." As Jonathan opened his mouth, a ripple of murmurs spread through the audience, the air electric with anticipation. Mia's words hung like a banner, bold and unyielding. How would he respond? Did he understand the battle she'd fought to stand here? The question lingered in the air, thick with tension, as everyone waited for his reply. Mia felt the corners of her heart yearning for acceptance, not just from the crowd, but from someone who once made her feel small. Would he see that she had found her place? With eyes locked, the gala now felt like more than an event. It was a crucible of transformation, a moment where past and future would collide in ways she never expected. And there, in the spotlight of her own life, Mia's story was only just beginning. The tension in the room hung thick with anticipation. As Mia held Jonathan's gaze, she could almost feel the heartbeat of the crowd synchronizing with her own. What would he say? Mia prepared for the worst, a mockery, a retort that would twist the knife in her past. But instead, he took a deep breath, his brows furrowed, as if he were searching for words that had long been buried. "I came to see," he hesitated, and Mia's heart raced. "To see if you really meant what you said." Mia's breath caught, and she could hear the subtle gasps around her. "What do you mean?" she asked, feeling the weight of every eye in the room glued to them, ready for a spectacle. He stepped closer, the distance between them shrinking but carrying an unspoken weight. "I've been thinking a lot lately. You were never the poor girl. You were always the one with the talent, the one who shouldn't have been underestimated." His voice dropped to a near whisper. "I'm sorry for how I treated you." A flurry of emotions crashed through Mia: confusion, surprise, lingering resentment, and an unexpected glimmer of compassion. She'd imagined this moment 1,000 times, yes, but never like this. "You've changed," she said slowly, still grappling with her surroundings, her mother's eyes wide with disbelief. "I want to understand. I want to know what drove you to become who you are today, because it's incredible," Jonathan continued, the sincerity spilling from his words as if a dam had broken. "Can you help me? Can we talk?" In that moment, she saw not just the boy who had haunted her childhood, but a young man seeking redemption. It hit her deeply. Had he really transformed? Could forgiveness be real? Was this the beginning of a different kind of connection? The crowd's whispers seemed to fade into the background as Mia considered her next words. The expectations of the room loomed, but she had never been one to back down from a challenge. Could she extend a hand? She took a deep breath, remembering the journey she had endured. "If we talk, it'll mean laying everything on the table. I won't hold back." A flicker of hope danced in Jonathan's eyes. "I'll take that. I owe you that much." Harper's voice chimed in, breaking the thick silence that had settled. "This is the perfect moment. You both can tell your stories. There's so much power in that connection." She grinned, her energy shifting the mood in the room from tension to curiosity. Mia nodded, sensing a profound moment slipping into place. Could she truly share her journey with Jonathan? Would it help heal parts of herself she hadn't even recognized needed healing? The audience leaned forward collectively, waiting for the unfolding of this unanticipated dialogue. Mia locked eyes with Jonathan once more, both lost in a storm of emotions that felt impossible to sort through. In that moment between them, the past began to dissolve. As they prepared to speak, a sudden bright flash interrupted their gaze like lightning in a dark sky. Someone was snapping pictures, capturing Mia's moment of vulnerability for everyone to see. Mia felt her cheeks flush. Was she ready for this? The room's atmosphere shifted, a new layer of intensity building around her. What if sharing her story could break the cycle of pain not just for her, but for Jonathan too? But the fear still lurked, gnawing at her confidence. What if her truth only laid her bare again? As strangers and friends alike watched with bated breath, one question loomed larger than all others. What story would Mia choose to reveal next, and how far would that revelation shift the balance of her past forever? Mia's heart drummed a frantic tempo against her ribs as she gathered her thoughts. All those years of silence, of pushing down the hurt and resentment, came rushing to the forefront. She felt raw, exposed, yet somehow ready. The bright flash of the camera had not just captured a moment, but it had brought to life the years of pain she had learned to conceal. She glanced at Jonathan, whose expression was an open book, filled with curiosity and an eagerness to hear the truth, not the embellished, fairy tale version, but the gritty reality of her journey. She took a deep breath and began, her voice steadying. "You remember high school, right? The funny jokes, the popularity contests, and, of course, the whispers behind my back." A silence settled, a heavy, listening silence, just waiting for the truths that were buried so deep within her. You might think it was all water under the bridge, but it wasn't. It felt like a storm every single day. Mia's fingertips tingled as she held tightly to the edges of the podium, grounding herself. For years, I believed I was just the poor girl, the underdog. The jokes turned into lonely nights, the ridicule became a shadow cast over my whole life. She looked at Jonathan, searching for any sign of his understanding. I thought the only way to cope was to achieve something remarkable. To break away from that label, to prove I wasn't just what they said I was. Jonathan's gaze flickered, his eyes betraying embarrassment but also a hint of realization. I poured everything into my art, she continued, her breath catching on the words. It was my escape, my freedom. When I painted, I felt alive, but even that space was invaded by whispers of doubt and hurt. Why are you even trying? You'll never be good enough. Mia paused, allowing the painful memories to surface, something she had kept contained for far too long. Her voice softened. The bullying didn't stop when I graduated. It followed me like a dark cloud. It took years to feel like I was more than just that girl in the background. The audience was silent. Mia ached to see how her words landed on the listeners, including Jonathan. Would they empathize, or just see her as another sob story? What if vulnerability made her weak once again? As the tension built around her, an unfamiliar warmth spread through her chest. She had transformed, was transforming still. I created a new life for myself, and yes, it included successes and failures. But through it all, I learned to love my journey. Mia glanced again at Jonathan. And you know what? It hurt to see you and the others thrive while I felt like I was drowning. I thought I could never forgive you for how you treated me. I thought I'd always be the girl overshadowed by memories of pain. She could see he was listening now, truly engaged, and as she spoke, something shifted within her. But standing here today, I realize that holding on to that hurt has been just as suffocating. I want to let it go. I want to try. Mia's voice wavered slightly, giving way to a more profound revelation. Maybe I'm not just the poor girl after all. Maybe I'm the artist, the survivor, the one who has a story worth telling. The clamor of the crowd began to stir, murmurs of realization brushing against her ears. For the first time, she felt a sense of clarity wash over her, a thin veil of peace amid the chaos. As she prepared to step down from the podium, she noticed Jonathan leaning and his expression shifted, something akin to admiration mingled with regret. "Mia," he began hesitantly. "There is something I need to tell you." The audience hushed at the urgency in his voice, their eyes darting between them. That glimmer of hope was edged with something sharp, something that began to echo Mia's own thoughts. What more could possibly happen in this charged moment? What truth could he unveil that would further change this landscape of their shared past? Mia's heart quickened again. She was ready for the next wave of truth in their story. But as the room waited, her breath held, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to change everything once more. What would Jonathan reveal that could unravel everything she thought she knew? Jonathan took a moment, his gaze steady and serious. The anticipation thickened in the air, stretching the silence tighter. "Mia," he began slowly, "I've wanted to say this for a long time, but I didn't know how." He glanced at the audience, then back at her, his voice dropping to a whisper, almost as if he feared the walls might listen. "I've carried guilt for years. I didn't understand the weight of my words back then, the way I laughed along with everyone else." He shifted on the spot, fidgeting like a child caught in a lie. "You were never just the background character to me. I saw your talent. I respected it. But I was too afraid to say anything, too afraid to stand against the crowd." Mia felt a heat rise in her cheeks. His words both soothed and stung. Could it be that he really meant it? That there was more to his past treatment of her? The memories of humiliation flashed in her mind again. Were those moments colored by his own struggle, too? "I need you to know something else." Jonathan's voice broke through her racing thoughts. "There was a moment, right before graduation, when you won that art competition. It was a big deal. I wanted to congratulate you, I did. But I felt so small, and I ended up not saying anything when I could have. I should have been proud of you." Mia's heart softened, but the skeptic in her remained. "Why tell me now?" she asked, her voice landing somewhere between vulnerability and challenge. "Because I've learned that we can't keep hiding from our past," he replied, determination lining his features. "I should have had the courage to stand by you then, and I regret that. I want to change that now, in any way I can." His honesty struck a chord deep inside her. The years of hurt didn't just vanish with a single admission, but this could be a start. "And what about the others, Jonathan? Do they feel the same way you do? Or was it just a laugh for them?" Mia pressed, equal parts hopeful and cautious. "I don't know. Would you give them a chance?" His question hung in the air, heavy with implications. Maybe there's something to learn from facing it together. Maybe there's a way for all of us to grow. The audience began to stir again. Mia glanced at the faces, some nodding, others shifting uncomfortably. She could sense their eagerness for reconciliation, but would she be strong enough to allow that? The warmth in her chest now threatened to spill over, a mix of hope and fear swirling within her. She took a deep breath, pulling strength from the realization that she held the power to shape her future, no longer just the reflection of others' expectations, but her own artist, her own story. "I've spent so long wanting to prove something," she confessed quietly. "Maybe it's time to start wanting to forgive instead." Jonathan nodded, visibly relieved but still vulnerable. "It starts with us, Mia. Not just for you, or for me, but for everyone who has been affected by it." Just when acceptance seemed within reach, a voice broke in from the back of the room, a familiar, sneering tone. "What are you two playing at? Throwing a pity party for the poor artist?" The crowd turned as a figure emerged, someone Mia recognized from the darkest days. A chill ran down her spine. The urge to retreat surfaced, but instead, she felt a new flame flicker to life. Mia squared her shoulders, willing herself to confront the shadows of her past. "I'm done falling back into the shadows," she declared, her voice steady. Jonathan stepped closer, support solid at her side. Could they really face this together? As the crowd's interest peaked, Mia caught a glimpse of potential of facing the truth head-on. But what would happen if she engaged with the friction of her past? What kind of transformation awaited them all? Her heart raced anew, intertwining with a deep-rooted courage. The next step lay ahead, and she could already feel the shift in herself. Let us talk. But as the words left her mouth, an unseen tension filled the air. How would this confrontation unfold, and would it lead them toward healing or heartbreak? Mia felt her breath hitch as all eyes fell on her and the unexpected, harsh voice from the back. She turned slightly, trying to see beyond the row of familiar faces, but it was only the one she feared. Sarah, the queen bee of their high school clique, sauntered forward, a familiar smirk plastered on her face. "Look at you two," Sarah said, her tone dripping with mockery. "What a touching little moment. Think you can rewrite history with some heartfelt confessions? You were all just fine throwing me under the bus, remember?" An uncomfortable murmur rippled through the audience. Mia's heart thudded against her ribcage. Memories crashed over her lunch tables, shared with laughter that turned to whispers the moment she sat down. The jokes about her artwork, the snickers when she presented her projects. Sarah was always at the center, it seemed, a relentless instigator of humiliation. "Why don't you just let it go, Sarah?" Jonathan chimed in, defensively. He was the wall beside her, his presence strong, but a flicker of worry crossed his face. Sarah laughed, her voice shrill. "Let it go? Oh, please. If I let it go, what would I have left? I'd just fade away like her." She pointed an accusatory finger toward Mia. The look in the crowd began to shift. Was it pity? Disgust? Mia couldn't tell. She felt small, the heaviness of past wounds festering beneath the surface. But then something shifted inside her. Rage mixed with a newfound clarity, igniting her voice. "Did you ever stop to think, Sarah," she started, her words almost trembling, "that maybe I deserve just as much of a voice as you do? Just because you were wandering through life in a haze of popularity doesn't mean you were right. I wasn't a background character in your story, you were a villain in mine." Gasps echoed through the room, and a few whispers grew louder, as if they too were waking from a long slumber. Jonathan watched her with unwavering support, pride shining through his concern. "Villain?" Sarah shrieked, taken aback. "You think you can turn this around on me? I barely even noticed you existed, Mia. Most people didn't. You were just there." Something deep within Mia broke free. "Maybe you didn't notice me, but that doesn't mean I didn't exist. I've always been here. After every laugh at my expense, I created art that reflected pain, anger, and truth. I didn't need your approval then, and I don't need it now." With a tiny push of bravado, Mia saw Jonathan's eyes gleaming from the corner of her vision. The warmth of his belief wrapped around her. She stepped forward, feeling a sea of voices behind her, rising and moving in sync. "Everyone in this room is carrying something, the weight of my past, your judgments, maybe even your fears," she said, addressing the crowd. "But we're all here. We're not just reflections of moments gone by. We can shift our paths, change our destinies. It doesn't have to end in bitterness." "Is this some kind of crazy therapy session?" Sarah spat back, but her facade wavered. "No more playing the victim, no more hiding," Mia challenged. "If you want to be heard, then show up. Join us here, or step aside. I won't be silenced anymore." Mia stood resolute, her heartbeat thunderous in her ears. The weight of the past was heavy, but she no longer felt it would crush her. With each word exchanged, light pierced through the clouds of shame, but just as courage surged within her, fear lurked nearby. What if this confrontation only deepened the divide? What if others stood with Sarah instead? The crowd was silent, their faces uncertain. Would they support her? Or would this confrontation spiral into more chaos? Jonathan shifted beside her, his unwavering presence pushing her to stand taller. "Mia," he whispered just for her, "you're not alone. This is about more than just us." She took a breath, feeling the weight of the moment. Each heartbeat propelled her forward. The confrontation wasn't just a reckoning. It was a test. And the outcome lay not just in the hands of old friends, but also in the collective choices they would make next. "What will it take for us to heal?" she asked, her voice ringing through the room. A question poised for transformation amidst the chaos. Where would they go from here? Would it lead to closure or chaos? The uncertainty lay thick in the air, and Mia's heart raced at the possibilities ahead. The room held its breath. Mia felt the weight of every gaze pinned upon her, a mixture of curiosity, doubt, and something else she couldn't quite place. She wanted to hold on to this feeling of empowerment, this surge of oppositional strength, but anxiety nipped at her heels. Jonathan, still standing solidly at her side, nodded slowly, as if he were trying to coax the crowd into taking a step forward alongside her. "It's time, guys," he urged, his voice steady and impassioned. "We can't keep letting fear dictate who we are. It's time we share our truths, unmask ourselves." Glimmers of understanding flickered over faces in the crowd. Mia could feel the sudden openness, energies shifting like an electric current. What if, together, they could rewrite their stories? She drew a deep breath, anticipation fueling her once again. "Imagine what we could accomplish when we stop letting the past limit us," Mia declared, riding the wave of her own words. "All the warriors among you, the artists, the dreamers, the thinkers. We can stand together, and evolve from this." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, and Mia took a chance. "If any of you have ever felt like I have or felt crushed by someone else's idea of who you're supposed to be, I want you to step forward." From somewhere near the back, a girl with frizzy hair and oversized glasses moved hesitantly. Emily. One of the quieter ones, always doodling in her notebooks, her creativity often overshadowed by the more boisterous classmates. She paused for a moment, glancing nervously at Sarah, who regarded her with an icy stare. Courage flickered in Emily's eyes, and she moved into the light. "I used to think I had to fit in, to mold myself to what everyone wanted," she began, her voice small but growing stronger. "But the truth is, I stopped creating. Art was my escape, and I lost it because I didn't want to stand out." The crowd began to respond, more students shifting forward, some with tears in their eyes, a few with defiance etched in their expressions. They opened up, sharing their own stories of bullying, exclusion, and deception. Together, they shared the burdens that had weighed them down for years. Mia looked over at Jonathan, and he met her gaze, a bright light of encouragement blazing in his eyes. This was no longer just her moment. This was theirs, the collective breaking of chains. As the energy surged, Sarah shifted uncomfortably, the smugness peeling off her like paint from an old wall. "What do you think you're doing?" she spat, desperation creeping into her tone. "You can't just take this from me." "Just watch us," Mia replied, her voice calm yet fierce. "We're taking back our stories." After a few more brave souls stepped forward, the atmosphere shifted entirely. The crowd erupted with applause, and for the first time, the power felt palpable. But in the haze of triumph, Mia caught a glimpse of Sarah retreating. The corners of her lips were turned down not in contempt, but in anguish. Was there fear in her eyes too? The moment felt tangled, a mix of celebration and uncertainty. As the applause melded into murmurs of change, Mia felt a stirring inside her. She wanted to know more. Part of her wanted to reach out to Sarah, another part warned her to tread carefully. Would it deepen the rifts or lead to unexpected healing? Just before the room settled back into quiet, a hesitant voice broke through. "Mia." Someone shouted from the back, a face emerging from the shadows. "You have no idea about the truth behind Sarah." Mia's heart raced. What truth? What had she missed, lurking beneath the surface? The spotlight turned toward the voice, and she felt the tension building once more. What secret was about to come to light? The murmurs of the crowd settled into a heavy silence, every eye now glued to the newcomer. Mia squinted to make out the figure. It was Jenna, known for her dry sense of humor and sharp observations. She was rarely at the forefront, but tonight she was ringing a warning bell, and everyone could sense it. What do you mean, Jenna? Mia asked, trying to sound steady, though a wave of uncertainty washed over her. What truth about Sarah? Jenna took a deep breath, her eyes darting over the faces around her, gauging their reactions before continuing. You don't know, do you? She pressed, voice dripping with disbelief. Sarah isn't just the queen bee she pretends to be. She's been hiding. Hiding a lot. The crowd shifted, shocked whispers fluttering like startled birds. Mia's stomach knotted. She had always thought of Sarah as the encapsulation of everything toxic, a reflection of her insecurities. But what if there was more to that narrative? Jenna raised her chin defiantly. Sarah's family isn't what they want everyone to think. Her father lost everything a couple of years ago: money, status, the works. It's a facade. They're struggling, barely keeping up appearances. Mia felt the weight of the revelation sink down deep. So, she bullies because she started, hope blooming amidst the confusion. Exactly. Jenna's voice softened. It's how she copes. She's scared of losing her place. And the more she feels like everything is slipping away, the more she tries to control others, like a sinking ship dragging everyone with it. The air grew dense with unease. For every step forward that Mia and her classmates had taken, Sarah had been a barrier, a symbol of fear and limitation. But what if she was just as trapped? The thought pricked something within Mia. What are we supposed to do with this information? Someone from the front shouted, their voice mingled with frustration. Do we just let her keep hurting us? Mia shook her head. No. But we can't just write her off either. She may have done terrible things, but what if, just like us, she needs a chance to change? What if she simply doesn't know how? A tangible tension rolled through the room, uncertainty swirling like wind before a storm. They had all come together to break free, and now that their own chains were clinking against the floor, they were faced with the possibility of having to forge a connection with someone they once saw as a foe. Is anyone ready to reach out? Mia asked, the question hanging heavy. Would they dare to take that step into unknown territory, to lose themselves further for someone they had all struggled against? The room was still, and then, to her surprise, Jonathan stepped forward, eyes steady. I think we should. If we can share our truths, maybe we can hold space for hers too. Mia's heart clenched. Could they all trust that? The crowd began to whisper, uncertainty brewing like a storm cloud overhead. But amid it all, a newfound determination flickered. What if we invite her to join this? Jenna suggested, the intensity of her previously restrained thoughts pour out. Let her experience the stories, witness our strength. If she wants to be part of the narrative, she has to face it. Trying to navigate the raw emotions flooding the space, Mia took a breath. It won't be easy. But perhaps it's time to elevate the conversation. Maybe it'll lead to healing, for all of us. As the crowd began to consider, Mia caught a glimpse of Sarah standing at the back, her face still shadowed but now unlike before. The fight had ebbed, replaced with something quieter, almost hopeful. What would she do? Would she step forward into this unexpected light, or would she choose to hide in the dark? Before Mia could ponder more, another voice rang out, clear and almost defiant. Hold on. What if it's more complicated than that? What if she has secrets about us too? Curiosity mixed with anxiety swelled in the room again. The connecting threads of their lives were beginning to intertwine, but how much would it truly cost? Mia felt the pulse of something bigger than any of them, an energy shifting. Alive and fierce. Would they all be brave enough to confront the truths within themselves and each other? Mia stood frozen, pulse quickening as voices swirled around her in a confusing dance of emotions. Everyone was grappling with the significance of Jenna's revelation, teetering on the edge of transformation. Breath-catching, she looked back at Sarah. The girl who had once been the epitome of her struggles now seemed so tragic, stripped down to raw, unguarded humanity. Mia felt a spark of empathy ignite within her. They were all clinging to facades, masks that needed to be torn away. Maybe we're all scared, Mia finally said, her voice steadying as she broke the thick silence. It's easy to lash out when you're terrified, I've done it 'cause I felt invisible. What if Sarah's just trying to cope? She stepped forward, her heart pounding as all eyes turned toward her. What if she needs our support just like we need each other's? A murmur traveled through the crowd. Some looked skeptical, others, intrigued. But she bullies us. Someone shouted. Yes, she does. Mia replied, passion fueling her words. But isn't this our chance to rewrite the script? To decide that we're not defined by those harsh words? The room leaned in closer, energy shifting, curiosity radiating like a beacon. Jonathan, ever at her side, turned to the crowd. Facing fear doesn't mean letting others off the hook. It means holding space for healing our own and the ones we've misunderstood. He gestured toward the back where Sarah stood, a shadow of her former self. If she's willing to come forward, let us meet her with openness. The tone in the room shifted, a cautious sense of adventure worked into the cracks of uncertainty. Shall we invite her? Mia breathed, feeling the weight of the moment so thick it could be cut with a knife. She could sense the energy, coaxing everyone to find courage. With a hesitant nod from Jonathan, a student stepped towards Sarah, his hand out as if to bridge the gap. You want to be part of this? He called to her, the challenge mingled with hope. Then take the leap. Join us or step down. It's your choice. We won't judge, but we won't be silent anymore. We deserve more than this. Sarah stood still, the expressions on the faces around her weaving a tapestry of collective courage and vulnerability. Slowly, an acknowledgement crossed her features, hesitant, yet filled with a flicker of willingness. I am sorry. I can't undo what I've done. But I want to try, she admitted, her voice smaller than she would be liked. I see what you've all built here. I feel it. Gasps punctuated the air, and Mia felt her heart soften. A bridge was being formed. That's all we're asking, Sarah, she replied gently, offering a reassuring smile. Being honest about our battles is the start. We're not saying it'll be easy, but we can try to understand each other. The audience buzzed with murmurs, conversations erupting into hopes shared aloud. Each confession shed light on murky pasts, revealing connections lost in their pretense of popularity and power. Taking a deep breath, Sarah stepped forward, crossing an invisible line toward acceptance. I'm ready to join you. I want to learn. I don't want to hide behind my past any longer. The room erupted into applause, and unexpected harmony was brewing. Relief washed over Mia, spilling into overwhelming joy. We are all in this together, she thought, a newfound warmth enveloping her heart. In that moment, the shadows that had governed their identities flickered and dimmed. Each student had reclaimed their narratives, creating a chorus of resilience. As they stood together, united by their vulnerability, light flooded the space around them. Mia had transformed from the poor girl into a beacon of hope for herself and others. She turned to her mother, Linda, who stood smiling near the entrance, tears of pride shining in her eyes. This was the life Mia had always envisioned, not just for herself, but for so many caught in the web of doubt. With each passing moment, Mia realized they were weaving a tapestry of change, not just within the walls of Lincoln High, but in the world outside. The bonds formed that night were only the beginning. They were no longer alone. As the night carried on, new connections formed, laughter mingled with shared dreams, and the colors of their stakes intertwined like perfect strokes of a rich masterpiece. As Mia looked around, she felt alive, no longer a depiction of bullies' cruelty, but the artist with a vision. And in that cascade of acceptance and newfound strength, she vowed never to let fear define her again. Before the night drew to a close, she turned to the audience, the ambience electric with new possibilities. If we can do this together, let us keep lifting each other up and pushing forward. Let us reclaim our narratives, renew our stories, and inspire others to do the same. The crowd erupted in cheers, solidifying what Mia had envisioned. With the echoes of applause mingling in the air, she knew this wasn't just an ending. It was the glorious beginning of something bigger than herself. And now, for an urgent call to action, you need to subscribe now to our channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let us grow together. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.